Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode 37 of the Thunder Gals.
30. I'm done.
Don't even try. She's failed at the hand gestures. She is,
It's a
still
bad week
coming
for
back
hand
off of the
gestures.
IR, so we're gonna cut her some slack as she's getting up back to
Yes.
game speed here. Paula, how are you
Need
doing
to get me
today?
back on. I'm doing well. I am doing well. Just don't ask me to figure out numbers and fingers and digits and stuff. If we
Oh,
don't have to talk if we don't have to talk about that, I'm good.
I think we can avoid a lot of that. We might have to talk some numbers though, because there were some transactions in the last week since we last spoke.
Yes.
This week, the Thunder picked up the team option on Lou Dort.
Hmm.
That brings him back for this next season, or does it? We can get into that in a little bit. Then they declined the team option on Kenrich Williams, which, had they picked up the option, he would have been owed, I want to say it was around 7 or 8 million was his
Yeah, I think like
contract.
7275. Yeah.
But they did announce yesterday, Thursday, July 2nd, he is coming back to the Thunder on a 1 year, $5 million deal. So he agreed to give up a little bit of money to stay on this roster. He could have just, that once they declined his option, he could have gone and signed anywhere else. So he's was certainly open to being able to go get bigger offers if he wanted to, but he
Hmm.
made the decision to take a pay cut to stay on this roster. So he's somebody who has said he would really like to end his career in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
He grew up in Waco, just down I-35, so I think he enjoys the vibes of being somewhat close to home and wanted to stick it out, so gave up a little money, and we get to keep a veteran presence and just a hustle player who, you throw in there in moments where maybe no one else has it one night. And sometimes he gets out there and gives you exactly what you needed to get the team across the line.
And he's always ready. I mean, he is always ready. It doesn't when his number's called, he's ready. But I think one of the real values of him is his locker room style, the way that he mentors guys and his presence. I think he has gravitas that everybody just thrives with. And he's a fan favorite, he's a team favorite, he's a player favorite. So I am super glad to see him back this year.
Yeah, and it again shows just the kind of organization that Sam runs, because there are a lot of teams out there that are not getting their players to want to make it happen, to stick with their
Mhm.
teams. And there's big name players getting shipped off. Jaylen Brown getting shipped off to, from Boston to Philadelphia for Paul George again. Another big Paul George
Thunder
trade.
legend Paul George.
Uh,
Love a Paul George trade.
he has now been involved in many trades for many great players who've had great careers in their own right.
Mhm.
Um,
And the majority of them have come through the Thunder organization.
right?
You got Sabonis, you got
Oladipo.
Oladipo, you got, Shea. Shea.
Shea. Obviously, Shea is the biggest name of all of them. Shea's
Hmm.
career has gone on to quite overshadow Paul George's career, to be honest.
Just a little,
Just a
just a little.
bit.
I mean, it's hard to overshadow playoff Paul, though.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited, and I hope that I think it will be interesting to see Paul in
In
Kelly Green.
Boston. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. In the green. It's he's still got something to give. He clearly
He does.
played well against Boston in that playoff series where the Sixers did beat the Celtics this year, and partially because of how well Paul George brought it in that first round series. So definitely a cost-cutting move for Boston though, and this is
Yeah.
where, you'll hear if you're hearing a lot of this second apron talk, this situation shows how Sam has built this team differently than the Celtics were even built. So basically, Boston gave both Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum the Shea level supermaxes closer to 60 million a year, which meant that just their top three players between Tatum, Brown, and White were taking up like 84% of the salary cap space. Whereas the Thunder also gave some max deals to their young players in J-Dub and Chet, but those were not the super max deals, and they come in closer to like the 45-ish million dollar a year range, to
Yeah.
where those two guys with Shea still only take up like 70% of the salary cap instead of 85% of the salary cap. So I'm hearing that that cost is a big part of why Jaylen Brown had to get moved, and that the Boston ownership group really wanted the flexibility of being under that second apron, because that second apron is basically the level of salary. Once you spend over that, there's all kinds of restrictions on trades and signings and what you can do with your team, and it's very puts you in a very inflexible situation with bringing back Kinrich for less money, going ahead and accepting the Dort deal where it's at. Sam has set this team up to where we're, pushing up on that second apron. We might be over it,
Yeah.
but
I think
by
we're still a smidge over.
which is why we have to talk about Lou Dort.
Lou Dort. We
Um,
love Lou Dort. We love Lou Dort. But
the team accepting his team option without an announcement of him accepting some kind of extension for some lesser amount like Hartenstein had, um, is a signal to me and to many others who follow this that Lou Dort is likely to be traded sometime between now and the trade deadline in February. The reason being, this is now an expiring contract, and at the end of it, he becomes an unrestricted free agent, which means there's a chance if we let him get to the end of the contract, he can just go sign elsewhere next summer for lots of money, and the Thunder won't have a chance to match and won't get any kind of compensation back for him. Whereas
that seems like
as an
that seems like
expiring,
something
yeah,
that
go yeah, Sam does not like to do that.
No, well, I mean, it didn't work out as well as some of us would have hoped a few years ago.
Yeah, back in 2016, we let
Hmm.
Kevin Durant get to unrestricted free agency, and he famously left, and the Thunder got no compensation. So
Nothing.
not only lost, an all NBA MVP level player, but lost that player for nothing.
Yep.
Since
No
that
return.
time, I do not think Sam has let that happen again unless it was somebody he was okay with that happening for, which is, somebody 10th or 11th on the roster, not
Right.
somebody like starting level player like Lou Dort. So to me, it's a big signal that like Lou's days in with the Thunder are probably numbered. Is that kind of how you
I
read
don't
it?
disagree because so the way I took it was that once again, Samuel is handling business inside the house. And I've been holding that I think Lou wants to expand his wings somewhere else
Yeah,
ever since he signed with Clutch. I know that should not play into it, but basketball is not just on the court anymore. And I think that this does lock Sam in to having something viable that he can trade because it's expiring. So it
yeah,
gives an opportunity elsewhere, still takes care of Lou, gets him started, and will also be able to have conversations. Where would you like to go? Where would you like for me to have discussions?
Right.
So there's not anything hanging over them. It gives them an opportunity to work out his exit, is the way I see it.
Yes.
So,
Had they declined his option, he would have become a free agent right now.
yeah,
So this does give the Thunder the most flexibility in giving them time to figure out how do we get some compensation back for him without letting him just walk for nothing. Because
right.
I guarantee had they declined that team option, Lakers, maybe even the Celtics, somebody would have been calling with
Oh,
some
that
big
phone's
money
gonna
in
ring.
hand.
I think it's still gonna ring knowing that he's locked in because now they can go, okay, this is what Oklahoma City has. This is Lou Dort. We can budget, figure out this amount, and then work backwards from there. What are we willing to give up to get that?
Yeah.
And I think honestly, it gives a lot, it takes a lot of the, you know, unknown out of it.
Hmm.
Truly, basketball aside, teams now know what's available, what's there, and Sam has basically, drawn the line. Okay, this is what we have, and go from
Yeah.
there.
Now we also have 41 and a half year old LeBron James on the free agent market, not going back to the Lakers, has now signaled he would like to go somewhere with a chance to win that has good golf and, decent golf weather throughout the basketball season and will is
Hmm.
willing to sign for a veteran minimum. So I have not heard anything linking him to the Thunder, but it is unique in that I think, he could be somebody who could do something like that.
He has spoken highly of the Thunder organization, the Thunder team. I, everybody says, "Oh, if LeBron's available, you want him." I don't want him, but that's because he doesn't fit our timeline. But if you have an opportunity to get LeBron for a freaking,
For a,
minimum,
a 1 year minimum deal? I mean,
then you then
maybe,
you, then you can always say Thunder legend LeBron James.
right? I mean, it would give him a real shot at winning another championship before he retires.
It would.
Um, he does somewhat fit a position where the Thunder don't really have any big wings like him that can play make. So he does potentially play a role that we could use. I am like you. I don't know that I necessarily think he fits the team culture per se, so I don't know that I would want him, but it was just an interesting thought because of what he said his criteria were. I was like, man, that actually doesn't sound like the Thunder would necessarily be out of contention. Because
I
even
could see him
even
having a
over the second
conversation.
apron, you're allowed to use the vet minimum. So
Right. Right.
it
So, money's not what's driving LeBron now. So, uh,
will be interesting to see where he lands. The East has seemed to get better because now Kawhi is back in Toronto, which
I, well, no, I'm not going to say my petty
I
comment.
I have a hypothesis about this.
What would it be?
I think that the NBA quietly behind the scenes required this of the Clippers as some sort of compensation for the aspiration scandal.
That
So,
wouldn't surprise me
so for
because my
those of you who
comment
don't
was,
remember, aspiration scandal is owner of the Clippers set up this fake company that gave a fake endorsement deal to Kawhi to be able to pay him more than the salary cap allowed.
Mhm.
And the as part of the scandal, the story goes that Kawhi's uncle, who was also working as his agent, had offered this deal to the Raptors and asked them to do it. They refused.
Hmm.
He got traded to the Clippers because they agreed that they'd be willing to do it.
And the Raptors notified the NBA about it too.
Yeah.
And they thought they were doing, everything right. My petty comment was, does Canada have extradition? But that's a whole other.
Canada does have extradition treaties with the
Oh,
US,
okay.
so
Hmm.
um,
No,
now
I
what?
think I don't disagree. I know there's machinations behind the scenes. There has to be
It seems
because
just
it's
too
been
good to
too
be
quiet.
true.
It's why would the Raptors want to take on this cloud?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I think, they wanted him back, and
I
hey,
mean, I get
he
it.
he
I'm
had
not
probably
disparaging the
his
Raptors.
he probably had his best season since that 2019 championship with the Raptors last year,
Yeah.
where he was injured less than previously and actually played most of the season and played at an all NBA level. So interesting stuff going on. It has not been quiet around the NBA.
It has not, everything shifting and like in the East, it's almost because so many players are shifting within the Eastern Conference. In some ways you say, okay, well, is it just, moving tables on the ship is it
Yeah.
really making a difference or are you
Right.
just shifting things around? And but I think a lot of the moves have really made a difference strength wise, and it will be interesting you know, to see the Bam and Giannis team, to see, anybody else.
Yeah. To see, Jaylen Brown and Joel Embiid with the Sixers, what can they
Yeah.
do? I mean, I think that makes Philadelphia better right now. Now, what does that do to their roster building in the future? I don't know. The Wizards are going to be interesting with Trey Young, along with their young guys,
Mhm.
along with their new number one pick.
Yeah.
Um, so it's gonna be fun. I'm really excited. And speaking of picks and fun, we've got the Summer League, which,
Yes.
starts tomorrow, July 4th, or whatever day you're listening to this. It starts on Saturday, July 4th for the Thunder. They will be first in the Salt Lake Summer League for a few days, and then they shift over to the Vegas Summer League. Um, do, do all of our listeners know what the Summer League even is, though?
I don't know because I had a friend ask me yesterday going, okay, are you tuning in for the summer league? Are you and Brittany? Are you doing your pre and your post games? Do we need to, And I said, no, summer league is for sickos like us. Um, it's not necessarily to watch full games. It is to watch the players and see what they are capable of right now. I said, you'll find some that'll play the first game and they'll have seen enough and they won't play them anymore. It just
Exactly.
it rotates out. It's really it's not like a combine because you're not necessarily measuring everything, but it's more of a first look.
Yeah, it's a lot of young guys. It's, a lot of rookies, maybe second, third year players. I can tell you that if a player is playing in a summer league for like their fourth or fifth time, that is somebody who is just roster filler for the summer league that is probably not going to get a shot because if you haven't made it into the league by your third summer league, it's probably not looking great for you. So these are young prospects trying to get on the radars of NBA scouts, along with like the new draft picks, and we would have expected somebody like a Topic to play, if he were healthy, because, he hasn't got to play a lot of actual games yet. So it's a chance for teams to kind of give those guys a little bit of run in a game situation to see how they handle it and see how they play with teammates and not just in a, random gym with the same five guys every day.
Yeah. Yeah, I know we were looking forward to Thomas Sorber and Nikki T playing this summer, and unfortunately they didn't, but that will give more minutes to our new guys.
It will.
So,
Who, we got what numbers they'll be wearing even.
oh yeah,
Oteg
we did.
Otega Owe will be number 13. Bennett Sturts will be number 14. And Adai Mata will be number 15. So they went sequentially.
Yeah.
Um,
Now they don't line up sequentially.
in
Did you see?
reverse order.
Exactly. Did you did you see the picture of, it's like,
When you
ah,
when you see a picture like that, because Bennett Sturts and Otega Owe, these are like 6'4", 6'5" guys who,
not short.
if you saw them walking around Bricktown, they would stand out as tall people. And standing next to a Daimata, they looked short as could be.
It's always so funny just to see the different, because alone you don't really realize how tall, or when they're on the court and all the players are ranging from 6'4" to 7. It's your perspective changes. And then
Yes.
you see a static image and you're like, "Whew, I did not think that I would need a ladder to say hi." So,
Yeah, just if any of you watched the playoffs and saw any of those post-game Wimby interviews and how hard it was for him to even bend down far enough to hear the sideline reporters' questions, Mara's gonna have the same problems for the Thunder.
mhm. I remember Steven Adams when Leslie McCaslin was sidelined for the Thunder. He would always immediately come up and put his hands on his knees and lean down for Leslie because she's not petite, but she was not near enough to be able to be in the same monitor as
Right.
Steven Adams. Love the accommodation.
I was listening to some of our fellow podcasters on Down to Dunk this morning, and they
Hmm.
had somebody who had sent in a Twitter question about, you know, does Adai Mara just being on the team and in practice every day give Chet more of a chance to practice against somebody Wimby sized on the regular that will help Chet's development as well in a way, just by having him to practice against.
Yeah, I could see that because right now they got a stick with a pillow on the end or something.
Right? And I was thinking too, more so than even helping Chet, it will get guys like Shea and AJ more used to playing against a defender with that kind of length.
Yeah,
So
true,
that,
true.
hopefully come playoff time next year, they won't see that size of body and have it like mentally turning them away and they will now know here's my counters to somebody of that length.
Yeah, it's true because that will give them an opportunity to run all the different scenarios through it and see, build the muscle memory so that it's not so, deer in the headlights sometimes.
Yeah, because you could definitely see that throughout some of those matchups last season where they'd look at Wimby standing there in front of the basket and just rethink the whole thing. And our guys who are usually such quick decision makers suddenly looking stumped was not something we as fans were used to seeing.
No, the that pause before the decision was just jarring. It's so unexpected.
Yeah,
So I think if anything, I mean, because again, I know I said it last week, but he's not the Wimby stopper, but I think he's a Wimby prepper because I
absolutely.
think he can absolutely help prep
Yeah, it'll be
the
a
team
much
for that.
different experience practicing against a real player of that height. And like
Yeah,
you said, not the mop or whatever you're holding
exactly.
up to try to simulate it. Like they can truly go through some scenarios now and see what that's like. So
Which no, there's no downside to that. None.
yeah.
None.
The more I've thought about it, the more I love the pick. I think it has enough upside to it that it was worth it. Since he fell to you at 12, it was really a no-brainer for Presti to pick him up.
With the 12th pick,
Hey, like we said, that last time we picked a center at 12, it was Steven Adams, so we ended up loving that guy.
which was number 12 sequentially.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
there you go.
saying.
Yeah. So
I don't know. Oh, one other Thunder legend news that happened today. I don't know if you've had a chance to see it yet, but former Thunder coach Billy Donovan got picked up to be an assistant coach down for the Spurs.
I did see that. I thought that's an interesting pickup. I can see why Mitch wants somebody very experienced by his side there.
Hmm.
It could also, depending on how much say Mitch had in that, it could also be a bad sign for Mitch that maybe they think, they want to have some other potential candidates in the wings should they have to move on from him. So I could be read in a couple different ways depending on how you want to frame
Well, I want to frame it as an organization in complete disarray.
it. Spurs in disarray.
Spurs in disarray. No, I mean,
Uh,
I think a veteran preference might presence might help Mitch on the bench, but we can't forget. I mean, it Mitch took the guys to the finals.
he did.
So,
I think there's nothing that I would say would be like, that guy can't coach because he clearly can to have gotten them that far. But, the finals did expose a lot of weaknesses in his
mhm,
coaching strategy and there were definitely some moments that left a lot to be desired. I think
yeah,
if your management for the Spurs and wanting to make sure, but I feel a little bad for him too because Pop retired, but Pop still hangs out around the team and hangs out at
yeah.
practices.
And
I
I
I
love Pop, don't
almost
get me wrong.
I almost feel bad in the sense he's trying to fill those shoes while that guy's still kind of hanging over him a bit. And that's, that I wouldn't want to go take a job as an attorney somewhere that and then the attorney I'm taking over for is still hanging over, criticizing my work and stuff all the time. Like it would be
That would
weird.
be a challenge. Yeah. I mean, and nobody's going to tell Pop to stop. And, and,
He's
and
such a part of
deservedly
that
so.
organization.
I mean, that is completely, you know, in the bloodline. So I don't know. I agree it's an interesting situation to be in, and hopefully Mitch is gonna thrive through it. And hopefully Billy's veteran preference presence. What the hell is with that word today? Presence can mitigate some of the pop influence.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. We certainly wish Pop well. Pop's one of my all-time favorite coaches, so
Absolutely.
I'm not meaning to throw shade at him. I feel a little
Mm,
bad
mm.
because when I think about it in terms of like how would I feel if like the previous person was like looking over my shoulder the whole time, I'd feel a little extra pressure, and that might not necessarily end up with me doing my best.
Did Mitch come up for several years under Pop? He did, didn't he?
He was part of the coaching staff before, I believe.
That's
So,
what I thought because Becky moved on when
yes,
it
because there was a
became
lot of
very
rumor that
obvious.
she might be in contention for that role at some point, and she might still be in contention for that at some point.
I don't know. I think she's loving racking up trophies out there in Vegas.
Yeah, she is getting some hardware out there with the aces, and now she's got my Minnesota Lynx to contend with this year, though they are off to a heck of a start this season, so
Oh, amazing. I don't know. I love it. The competition, I think it's great. So I just think, you know, she's the closest that we've come so far to a female NBA coach.
yeah. There's that
And
assistant for the Pacers. I'm blanking
yeah,
on her
not
name
head.
right
Sorry,
now.
I should say head.
But she's, I think, somebody who is trying to position herself to be somebody who might be able to take a head coach role at some point. So,
That would be great. I would love to see. It's so interesting that there are so many female college coaches, but it doesn't always translate. I mean, not that NBA and coaches are the same, Billy Donovan excluded, but it's just so interesting to see so many in one area and none in another. So
yeah,
the opportunities are still there.
they're getting there. I heard back in the day that Mark Cuban was close to drafting Brittany Griner to the Mavericks at one point and had like
Really?
given that serious consideration. So there's some Maverick team, like I use Maverick in the other, not meaning the
Yeah.
Mavericks, but there will be some team that is willing to do something wild like that one day, I think, and I can't wait because there are some of those gals could probably play in the NBA if in the right role.
It'd be interesting to see. There's people that don't even like it being called the MNBA as opposed to the WNBA for differentiating, but there's all kinds
I
of
just
fans.
say NBA because that's what it is. I get why people do the MNBA thing and doesn't bother me. It bothers some. If it bothers you a whole lot, it says more about you than it does about the person using MNBA.
1,000%.
It's like
Yes.
it's really no skin off my ass. Call it whatever you want.
It's all basketball. It's all outstanding athletes that I will never be. So I just going to appreciate wherever they play.
I'm old and stuck in my ways. I've called it the NBA since I was 8 years old, and so it's not something easy for me to flip to, but when people
Well,
type
I
out
mean,
MNBA, I know what they mean, and I'm not offended by it.
see, since the NBA started in 2008, I have always called it the NBA, the
Right?
Thunder, and the Net.
Since it started. That's when it began for you
Since
in
its
your world.
inception. Since its inception. Yes. Oh well, you know me. Thunder first. Everything else follows.
Well, I think we've got you all caught up on where the news is now. I'm sure some other news has probably broken in the hour that we've been recording this, but we'll both, watch bits and pieces of some of these summer league games and by all means watch them if you want to, but don't expect like great games. Like these are kind of
Mm-mm.
there's not like a crowd, like the crowd is weird. They're oftentimes in these kind of smaller arenas and it's a lot of loud shoes on the floor and not as much crowd noise. And the
Definitely more
uniforms are kind of
exhibition.
different and like
Yeah.
not it's not gonna look just like an NBA game, but
No.
if you want to see the first minutes of a Daimara wearing that number 15 in Thunder Blue, watch some of this summer league, check it out, and we'll be back, to talk to y'all about what we see from some of these summer league action moments and what we think we maybe got with these guys.
Yep. Absolutely. And don't forget, Smash that button.
That's right. Subscribe, like this on YouTube, give it 5 stars on your podcast app, whatever medium you're hearing us on, and make sure you subscribe and tell your friends. Let us help keep
All
building
of them.
this inclusive, awesome space for Thunder fans of all levels to be able to come and have some fun chatting about the business of the Thunder together.
Absolutely. Well, Brett, I hope you have a great weekend and I will talk to you soon.
Yeah, happy 4th to anyone who's celebrating, and peace and Thunder up!